page 116, 2 to 6. So page 116, 2 to 6. Does anyone need me to do any one of those? So page 116, it's in the wrong page. 2 to 6, right?
Miss, could you do IV?
IV.
Wait, no. Or no, it's VIII.
VIII of which number?
Wait, sorry, I'm on the wrong thing.
Yeah. So I'm on page 116, 2 to 6. Hang on now, there's more people in the waiting room. Annabelle and Ashleen, right, okay. Right, okay. So does anyone need me to do any number, any one of 2 to 6 on page 116? So anyone for number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6? No?
Yeah.
You're all okay? And then on the next page, we'll go over 6. Yeah, I will, no bother. So number 6. Oh, did I get a pen that right? Number 6. Tn is 2n minus 6. Show that T1 plus T5 equals 0. Okay, so the first thing I have to do is get T1. Okay, so T1, to get T1 means everywhere I see an n, it's term number 1. So that means everywhere I see an n, put in a 1. So term number 1 is into the calculator with that is minus 4. Right? Then you get term number 5. So that means n is 5. Everywhere you see an n, put in a 5. So it's 2 times 5 minus 6, because it's 2n minus 6. That's the rule. Okay, that would be 4. And then it says show that T1 plus T5 equals 0. T1 was minus 4 plus T5 was 4 equals 0, and that is true, doesn't it? Because minus 4 plus 4 is 0. So when you add those together, you get 0. Okay, so it's true. Is that right? That's number 6. Right, okay. And then on the next page, I said, don't mind the questions, just draw the next pattern in the sequence from numbers 1 to 9, except number 6. Was everyone able to draw the next pattern in the sequence? Does anyone need me to do out any of them? No? Okay, great. Okay, so yesterday I said, here's Tn. So if I said Tn was 2n minus 6, and I said write me out the first few terms, and you go 2 times 1 minus 6 is minus 4, so the first term is minus 4, and then you went 2 times 2 minus 6 is minus 2, right? And then you went 2 times 3 minus 6, and you said that was 0, and then you went 2 times 4 minus 6, and that was 2. So the first 4 terms were minus 4, minus 2, 0, 2, and dot dot dot. That's all I asked you for. Okay, so that's what I would have we would have done yesterday. Okay, so I would have given you Tn and said show me the sequence. Right, today I'm going to give you the sequence and I'm going to tell you get me Tn. So it's the opposite way around. Okay, so I'm going to show you the sequence and say get me Tn. So yesterday I said here's Tn, show me the sequence. Today it's going to be here's the sequence, get me Tn, get me the rule, right, in order to get the sequence. Okay, so before I show you how to do that, I have to tell you what an arithmetic sequence is. Right, you would have come across this in Junior Cert, okay, except we wouldn't have called them arithmetic. Right, we would have called them a linear sequence. Okay, so a linear sequence and an arithmetic sequence are the exact same thing. right? Just different names for the same thing, okay? So an arithmetic sequence, girls, is a sequence in which any term after the first can be got by adding a fixed number to the term before it is called an arithmetic sequence, okay? So if you just write down the definition and then I'll show you an example of exactly what I mean, okay? Write it down, okay? So I'm just going to say, for example, okay, I'll wait another minute so before I start talking. Hey, y'all dusting off your uniform for the 15th of March?
No.
Don't want to go?
I'm staying in bed.
You don't want to go? I can't wait to go to school.
No.
I can't wait to go to school. I hate this online. It's like talking to a screen. I don't know, is anyone even listening to me? At least in the classroom, I know you're all hiding under the desk or something. But sure, chances are you're not even there, like, do you know? So, I hate it. I hate it. I hate having no people around me. I can't wait. I'm going back Monday. I just can't wait. I'm so excited. I nearly have my clothes picked out. Now, right. So an arithmetic sequence, girls. An example of an arithmetic sequence is something like 1, 4, 7, 10, dot, dot, dot. And how do I know it's an arithmetic sequence? Because I'm adding on the same number every time. So I add 3, I add 3, I add 3. Okay, the next term would be 13, 16, 19, 22, etc. So an arithmetic sequence is you're adding on the same number every time. Okay, so how you get from one term to the next is you add on the same number every time. Okay, and you could be adding on a negative number, as in you could be minusing a number. So you could have something like 4, 2, 0, minus 2, etc. And to go from here to here, you minus 2. From here to here, you minus 2. From here to here, you minus 2. So it could be adding or subtracting. Okay, I only said adding in the definition because we say adding a negative number, right, which is the same as subtracting the same number every time. Okay, right, so there's a second example there. Okay, can I move it up? Can I do that if I cut anyone off?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Is it yeah, I can move it up, or yeah, I'll cut you off? Sorry.
No, you can move it up.
I can move it up. Okay?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So, girls, so in order to get the TN, in order to get the rule, you'll be delighted to hear there's a formula. Right, okay? And the formula is in the table, so you don't even have to learn the formulas, you just have to know it exists, okay? So it's in the tables. So the formula for the nth term of an arithmetic sequence, right? So how do I get Tn? How do I get the rule that was given to me last night? How do I get that? Right? And there's a formula. Again, you probably would have come across it in junior cert. So Tn is equal to a plus n minus 1 times d. Right? Okay. So to get Tn, the general term, you get a. A is the first term in the sequence. Right? And I'll be doing an example now in a minute, so it'll all make sense in a minute. A is the first term, so you fill in whatever the first term is for A, and D is the common difference. The common difference is what you're adding on each time. So in this example here, D would be 3. In this example here, D would be minus 2. So D is the common difference, it's called, and it's what you're adding or subtracting every time. So it's plus 3 or minus 2 or whatever. Okay? Right, example 1. Can I go?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Example 1. So here's my sequence, and I want you to find the rule. Find Tn. Find the general term. right, for the sequence 3, 8, 13, 18, right? Okay, so you have to say it's arithmetic first. So you say to go from 3 to 8, I'll add on 5. To go from 8 to 13, I add on 5. So to go from 13 to 18, I add on 5. So therefore it's an arithmetic sequence, and because it's an arithmetic sequence, I can use the formula. Okay, you can only use the formula if it's an arithmetic sequence. We'll be coming across ones that are not arithmetic by the end of the chapter, and we won't be able to use the formula for them. But now it's an arithmetic sequence, so we can use this formula, a plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, so a is the first term. So a in that sequence, a is the first term. So the first term here is 3. Right? And d is the common difference. It's what you're adding on each time. So d is 5. Is that okay? So you fill in for everything except n, right? So you go Tn is equal to a is 3. Don't fill in for n minus 1 times, d is 5. Okay, so the 5 is written at the end of the bracket, girls. That's normally we have the 5 at the front of the bracket. So I'm just going to move the 5 to the front of the bracket so I can multiply into the bracket and tidy it up. Okay, now you don't have to do this if you remember to multiply each term by the 5. But remember, multiplication is commutative, as in order doesn't matter. So the bracket by 5 is the same as 5 by the bracket. Okay, so Tn is equal to 3, multiply into that bracket, 5 by n is 5n, and 5 by minus 1 is minus 5. And then you can just put the numbers together. So I have 5n, and then I have 3 take away 5, 3 take away 5 is minus 2, and that's my answer. Okay? And you can check your answer, right? As in, is T1, is term number 1 3? So if I put in 1 for n, will I end up with 3? If I put in 2 for n, will I end up with 8? If I put in 3 for n, will I end up with 13? Right? If I put in 4 for n, will I end up with 16? And yes, the answer to all those is yes. So you know you're right. Okay? You know you're right. Okay? Ready? Example 2. Right. Find Tn for this sequence. Okay? So again, that's a 7, sorry. So then you see, so you go from 7 to 10, that adds 3. 10 to 13, we're adding 3. 13 to 16, we're adding 3. So it's definitely an arithmetic sequence because I'm adding the same term each time. And if it's an arithmetic sequence, that means that I can use my formula to get Tn, right? So my formula is a plus n minus 1 times d. So a is the first term. So the first term here is 7, right? And d is the common difference, the number you're adding on each time. So I'm adding on a 3 each time. So d is 3. So then you fill in for a and d. Don't fill in for n. Well, you don't know what n is anyway. So Tn is equal to a is 7 plus n minus 1 times multiplied by d. Now, the 3 is at the end of the bracket. That means multiply into the bracket by 3. So I'm just going to put it at the start of the bracket so I remember to multiply everything by 3. Okay? So then you go Tn is equal to 7 plus 3 by n is 3n. 3 by minus 1 is minus 3. And then I can put my numbers together. So you get Tn equals, there's just 3n. And then it's 7 take away 3 is 4. And that's my answer. So the general term there is Tn equals 3n plus 4. Right? Check your answer. If you fill in 1 for n, you get 7. If you fill in 2 for n, you get 10. If you fill in 3 for n, you get 13. If you fill in 4 for n, you get 16, and the answer to all those questions is yes, you do, so you're right. Okay,
Miss,
yes?
if you got this question and like, you know, the one we had the other day was like 3 plus 4 is 7, 7 plus 11 is 18.
Yeah.
If you got one like that, how would you do it in the sequence?
You wouldn't have it, you wouldn't be asked for that. Okay, there's only 2 types you'll be asked for, an arithmetic one and a quadratic one, which we'll do at the end of the chapter, which is quite a hard one. But the one we had the other day, you wouldn't be asked anything as complicated as that. Okay? Right. Example 3, right? Same thing. Here's the sequence, right? Find Tn, right? And I'm going to add on a bit, hence find T20. So you want to find the 20th term in the sequence. Hence means, that word hence means use your answer from the first part to do the second part. That's what hence means. Use your answer from the first part to do the second part. Okay, so I'm going to do the first part first. So we have 4, 2, 0, minus 2, dot, dot, dot is your sequence. Right, to go from 4 to 2, you take away 2. So to go from 2 to 0, you take away 2. To go from 0 to minus 2, you take away 2. So you're subtracting the same number each time. So it's still an arithmetic sequence. So if it's an arithmetic sequence, you can use your formula. So the formula is Tn equals a plus n minus 1 times d. So a is the first term, which is 4. Okay? And d is what you're adding on each time. Now just be careful here, girls. D is minus 2 this time. It's not plus 2, it's a minus 2 because you're going down in 2s. Okay? So then you fill in. So you fill in for the A and you fill in for D. So A is 4, right, plus n minus 1 multiplied by minus 2. Okay? So I put that in brackets because there's a minus, that's all. You don't have to put in the brackets. Okay? So I'm just going to bring the minus 2 to the front. Okay? So that plus becomes a minus and it's a 2 into n minus 1. Okay? So I just brought the 2 to the front, and remember a plus by a minus is a minus. Okay? So now I'm multiplying into that bracket. So I'm multiplying into that bracket, and be careful because I'm multiplying in by a minus 2. Remember, multiplying in by a minus changes all the signs inside. So that's a 4. Minus 2 by n is minus 2n. And a minus by a minus is a plus. 2 by 1 is 2. So then Tn is equal to minus 2n. And then I have 4 plus 2, which is plus 6. That's the first part of the sum done. They said hence find T20. So hence means use this answer. That's what the word hence means. Use your first answer to do the second bit. So T20, right, means into my rule, everywhere I see an n, put in a 20, because I'm looking for term number 20. So that's term number 20. So everywhere I see an n, put in a 20, so that's 2 times 20 plus 6 into the calculator with that, and you'll get minus 34. Okay, so the 20th term in that sequence is minus 34. Okay, any questions for me?
No.
Right, okay, so we're going to do page 123, and we're going to do, no, that's not where we're at. It is where we're at. Just hang on a sec. Yeah. I had the questions picked out now, and now I don't. Let's do 1 to 6. So page 1, 2, 3, 1 to 6, right, between now and tomorrow. Okay? So you can head off and do them if you've questions for me.